investigation of the Americans. The Americans might have started this whole pandemic. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the Chinese are playing their strongest card because the Americans did have a hand in this. And precisely as Steve said, this goes back not just to 2015 or 14 or 13. This goes way back to 2002. Coronaviruses were not originally transmittable to human beings. That was before the first SARS outbreak. And Dr. Fauci was funding gain-of-function research through NIAID long before it was farmed out to the Wuhan lab. What Americans really need to understand is that gain-of-function research was being carried out at North Carolina's Chapel Hill University long before it was farmed out to the Wuhan lab, right? That happened because it was deemed so dangerous that's why it was banned by Congress, and that's why Fauci pushed it abroad to the Chinese. So the Chinese know that their best defense is to point a finger at the U.S. because the U.S. does have their hands dirty. And what Fauci has done is spin a web of lies and cover-ups, cover-up over cover-up over cover-up. It's like peeling back an onion. He's counting on the fact that we're going to peel back the first layer and find the first cover-up, and we're going to give up, right? Everybody's going to say, okay, well, you know, we proved that China was involved. But actually what he's hiding is that he was involved long before this, and there's a much deeper, darker cover-up at play here.
Yeah. It almost reminds me of, Steve, when we found out about the economy collapsing. We didn't really know what Wall Street was up to. We are now finding what science was up to. But go ahead.
Exactly, and I think Lara is exactly right. And then to further add to her point, I think the thing we need to zero in on now, in respect of Fauci's behavior, is the fact that, as Lara said, this was regulated because it was so dangerous. This was controlled. You had both the Obama administration put a complete ban on this in 2014, and you had the Trump administration lift the ban but replace it with a very tough regulation of this, so that any experimentation of this kind had to be flagged for a specific review. Fauci went around both of those restrictions. That's where I think we've got him, because that is professional misconduct of the highest order. There's an IG investigation for the HHS now. I don't know if that's going to be a cover-up too. We need to focus on the question, did Fauci go around the regulations that were in place by the previous administration and the Trump administration to push this research that he was such a champion of?
All right, Steve, we're going to see you at 9 o'clock Eastern. You'll build on this. Go ahead, Lara.
Always.
Yes.
We'll get him in the end.
So what I would add to what Steve is saying is, because he's completely right about everything that he just said, and there's another part to this. How did that virus, why was it carried back here in 2015 to the University of North Chapel, to the laboratory there, to Dr. Ralph Barrick? He also needs to be in the hot seat here.
Right. And by the way, we will continue to follow this. We're going to look forward to July 11th for another reason. You got a brand new season on Fox Nation.